And I'm going to talk now about the term, the social practice view of literacy. One of the terms that's often used in the discourse around adult literacy and adult numeracy is the term, the social practice view. So let's look at what that really means and what the implications are for policy and provision and for pedagogy. The term is freely and loosely used. So let's look at the meanings intended by the original proponents of the concept, such as Street, G, and Hamilton. For example, Brian Street wrote that literacy is more than just a skill. The last decade of research and practice in literacy has made it apparent that literacy is a social practice that varies from one context to another and is part of cultural knowledge and behaviour, not simply a technical competence to be added on to people as though they were machines being upgraded. And as James G. explains, we do not just read, we read something. And if we read that something with understanding, we must concern ourselves with the context in which it was written. Our understanding of the text can't be divorced from our understanding of aspects such as the intention of the author and the context in which it was written, the purpose for which it was written, and its intended audience. All of these aspects of language and more are the resources of language that the reader draws on as the need arises. These are the socio-cultural language resources that the reader draws on. In general, then, literacy today is perceived to be social by nature rather than merely an individual's set of skills. And there's consensus among literacy researchers that the meaning of literacy depends on the context in which it's being used. The social practice view is not a one-size-fits-all view of literacy. In fact, it gives rise to the concept of multiple literacies, of different literacies in different domains of our lives, our workplace, home, school, and so on. The social practice view also has implications for literacy pedagogy and for research. Adults acquire literacies to a greater or lesser extent through informal learning and participation in their different communities, so that they carry histories of participation with literacy practices with them into different domains of social practice. For example, our adult literacy students usually come to us with a history of immersion in the context of school literacy, and this must be considered in the new context of adult literacy learning. In addition, the social practice view of literacy implies that adult literacy pedagogy should be student-centred rather than a matter of mastery of a series of decontextualised subskills. It should address the particular literacy domain that the individual student needs help with. And it should help the learner to understand and to use those socio-cultural resources of language that are needed to really make meaning from a text.